If you want to become successful in life, young man, he said, number one, you got to change your mindset. He said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Number two, practice OQP, only quality people. And the third thing he said, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are.
We leveled up one of our major funnels and it rapidly increased the conversion rate.
He thinks he puts his heart into what he does to be able to deliver.
You know, you and Macy, both super sharp, man. And that's one of the biggest pleasures of working together. You guys are like diamonds, you know, very hard to come across in the digital world.
Best looking profile on Upwork for ClickFunnels. I'm like, this guy is the best. Like, this is the guy I need.
He's so thorough with his work. He shows you what he's done, why he did it that way, how to access things. I just so trust him.
Yeah, really into the detail, and cannot recommend him highly enough. Buddy, thank you, like for everything you've done, and yeah, love working with you.
Nothing But Up, the podcast, season 2, with your host, Jameer Angelo.
Sage about the flex.
Welcome to the podcast. This is Jameer Angelo, your host for Nothing But Up, the podcast, and I'm coming to you live, as always, from a simple home office here in the province of South Cotabato. And guys, you're tuned into season 2, episode 5. Today is Monday, December 12th, and try to sit down and hang out with me for probably a good 20-30 minutes today. Hopefully, crossing fingers. This could probably end up shorter or longer, just really depending on how it will take us. But yeah, running a solo episode today because I felt like I've been gone for a while. So I thought about, running a single episode, a solo episode today. Just try to run a quick one and to get the hang of it, for a while. But anyway, just like any other episode, let me throw some love to everybody that has supported us since day one. Biggest shout out to Cole Scansey, to Dave and Mom Lou. They are our major sponsors for season 1 for Nothing But Up, the podcast. I hope you guys are good. Shout out also to my partner, my wife, our CEO at Funnel Expert PH, Macy. Hope you're good. To Launch Attack, located at Ethereum Food Park in Zamboanga, Cebu. Hope you guys are good. To my brother, Mark, bro. We really need to hang out, man. Can't wait to see you when I get home. So I'll try and find you. To my Mama Lena, my sister Faye, Connie, and of course to my kids, LJ, Janos, Lee, Jameer, Jelai, and Memphis. Can't wait to spend my Christmas with you guys in Cebu. So we'll be coming home pretty soon. And anyway, you see, diving into today's topic, I really came across this powerful video on my Facebook feed, I think about a few days ago, and it really got me thinking. And it says, if you want to become successful, you need to practice 3 things. And I'm going to try and provide you some, good scenario as to how it literally impacted my life, both my professional career, my working relationship, my relationship with people, and all those good stuff. So I'm going to try and cite some example. But if we try and go back to what was initially stated on the video, the first one was about changing the mindset, or change your mindset. And it says there that you can't, or you don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are, right? So it's I know for a fact that it's very deep, and for maybe for younger folks listening or tuned in to the podcast right now, it may sound unreal for most, right? Because why would you say that you can't get, what you want in life, and it really boils down to what you are, right? For some, it really doesn't make sense. And one good example for this is that, I had a good conversation with, I won't be dropping names, but about a few weeks ago, I had a good conversation with one of my basketball players here, a member of Funnel Expert PH Basketball, whom I trust and love the most. I know you guys might be thinking who that person is, but I'm not going to be dropping names right now. But this dude really had some, serious issues with his father, right? And I really couldn't help but, listen to the dude, listen to the guy deeply, because I used to have that issue when I was younger, right? There were instances where he got compared to, his cousins. He got compared from his siblings, which is a pain to accept, because apart from him being a young dad, a young father, right? He committed himself to having a baby at a very young age. If I'm not mistaken, he's just right around 22. And so pretty young, of course. But, guess what? I got my first daughter. I had my first daughter at age 18, right? That's how young I was when I first became a dad. And moving forward right now, my eldest, LJ, is now almost graduating college, right? So you couldn't, figure out the fact as to when you'd be able to achieve success. And for me, success is relevant, right? It really doesn't boil down to you having money. But, hypocrisy aside, of course, money really will always be going to be part of the equation. But as you grow older and as you begin to absorb what life brings, right? I had a total switch in mindset. And it's not totally about money. Although for a fact, it's a given factor, like everybody would really go down to, really having money. But given the current situation I'm at, where, I was diagnosed having diabetes, and I had to undergo rapid change as far as my health and lifestyle is concerned. But that totally took the toll on me. So that alone is one of the biggest determining factor that I could probably share. Because if you are literally someone that is perhaps, always dwell on the negative side of things, right? Really doesn't care about what positivity could bring to you in your life. I was in that situation before, and that was 2 decades ago. And because I was able to switch and change my mindset, it led me to become who I am now. It led me to becoming the top funnel expert, not just in the country, but entire world. I was able to establish myself in the, in the digital marketing space. I was able to put up a team, a solid team, group of people now I'm working closely with, helping them achieve what I was able to achieve, and literally touching people's lives every day, every single moment of your life, right? And that's one that led me to sharing this experience or conversation I had with my basketball player, Funnel Expert PH Basketball, who plays alongside, my team. Considering that he is really, thirsty for achieving success. And I can't blame the guy because I know he's just very young. And at that very young age, you can't blame him for really absorbing what his father is telling him. Comparing himself to his siblings, comparing himself to, his cousins or maybe direct relatives about the success that they were able to achieve at that very age. And again, success needs to be relevant, right? It's not a competition, right? And what success means for me might not be for you or for him. But based off our conversation, what he shared was that he is really thirsty for achieving success, to become rich, to attain a college degree, to prove something to himself and to his father. Again, which is not a bad thing. But one thing which is bad is that this dude really sits on the negative side of things. And I hate to say this, but I always see that in him. But for me, at least, considering the experience and all the shit that I've been through, I was able to, engage with a person, with him. I was able to, provide and instill some knowledge and maybe some, pieces of advice that in order for you to achieve success, you gotta need to change your mindset. That if you sit and dwell on too much negativity in you, it's going to carry over your life. It's going to be passed on to your partner, to your wife. It's going to be passed on to your daughter. And you don't want that to happen to you. And I personally don't want that to happen to him. So that's why, in order for you to really achieve success, it starts with your mind. You have to pre-frame your mind that one day you will be achieving everything that you've been longing to have. You'd be able to achieve not just money or maybe fame or fortune per se, but you'd be able to achieve everything that you've been dreaming of, that you've been desiring of, right? And it's not impossible. I mean, look at me. I was once a security guard for 2 years, right? A young dad at age 18. But I was able to pull through. I was able to work as a fast food attendant at Jollibee and KFC, earning like 21 pesos hourly, right? But I was able to pull through. I was able to turn the tables around for me. It's just not totally because of, the hard work and perseverance I had, but it all started with the mind. It started with my mindset. So I'm hoping you guys will be able to get a good feel of that. And you'll be able to at least try to get a little something out of it to keep you going as the days goes by. And moving on to the video, as what I mentioned, another good one, the second one is practice OQP, right? Only quality people, right? Now, this may sound a little cliche, especially with me, because, I'm more of a guy where I love to interact with people. I love to hang out with so many people. Now, if you are close to me, I would probably say you're one of the lucky dudes there is, because I really handpick people that is within my circle, right? And again, that's another good example. And in order for you to achieve success in life, you only need to limit the amount of people that you are willing to interact and you are willing to communicate with. At least perhaps not on a daily basis, but maybe on a weekly basis on a general perspective with constant communication that comes in, right? And for me, at least on a personal perspective, there are only 3 reasons why you need to do that, right? Number 1, you're kind of like concentrating your circle, right? You are eliminating those people that doesn't bring so much good in you versus those that does, right? And of course, for obvious reasons, we always go with people that does bring the best in you every time. And again, as what I mentioned, I always connect, network, or interact with people whom I feel that would really make sense to me, would bring positivity or positive impact in my life, or maybe in my career, my business, my working relationship, or even my basketball team, right? I really don't give a shit, right? If people tries to, engage with me and I feel the negativity in that person, I run the hell out of it, as quickly as I can. Because again, at the end of the day, again, I only wanna go ahead and communicate with people that really has some positivity in them, right? And that's something that you need to practice too, right? Only quality people, right? You handpick the people that brings out the best in you, that brings positivity every single time, that provides more drive, more passion, more freedom within you. And that alone is, for me, considered as a quality people, which I will never hesitate communicating with. And then lastly, as what the video said, develop your communication skills. Because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And again, I hate to say this, but that is exactly true. I can only speak for myself, not, for the people around me, but absolutely, you need to develop your communication skills. Because again, you may intend to say something, but if you deliver it in the wrong manner, it may turn out to be a negative thing for people receiving what you're trying to say. And I fall victim to this actually most of the time, right? One good example is last night, during a basketball game against, a shout out to Tonton Motor Parts from Veterans Sorala. We had a great game, only decided by a bucket, go ahead bucket by one of their players. I think it was Mark Tote Uboy. Shout out to you, bro. You killed us last night. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that, to give you a good example, is that I myself, as a Cebuano, especially living in Cebu for majority of my life, so if you're not somewhat familiar to how we speak our language there, we tend to sound angry, but we're not, right? And I get to have this issue wherein when I'm trying to get a point across to somebody I'm talking with, like what happened last night with the referee I was talking with, they tend to take it differently. It's because of the tone of voice. It's because of how I speak and the language that is instilled in me. But in all honesty, right? In all modesty, I wasn't angry. I was just telling the referee, hey, somebody's complaining. You might as well try to, warn them instead of, if not, give them a technical foul or a warning for complaining, something to that nature. But again, going back to the game, it was totally a great ball game. Although we lost by a bucket, but again, a pretty solid ball game that we played for the people in Veterans. Shout out to everybody there. Hope you guys are watching and listening. And that's definitely one of the bigger examples that I can say, because if you won't develop your communication skills, and let's say, for example, you somewhat on the side of things where probably you're an introvert, right? So as for most of if you are an introvert, you tend to speak less, and then your actions tends to be affected by it, right? And if you don't conquer the fear, and if you don't work on your communication skills, chances are you really won't be able to get your point across to the people that you're speaking with. So again, at the end of the day, when I found this video out through my Facebook newsfeed, as well said a few weeks ago, I literally saved this because I really wanted this to be out in the open. More people would be able to see this. It's because of the power that it brings, not just to myself, but for the people around me, people that's been following me. And again, mad love to Funnel Expert PH. I think we are at 36,000 followers right now. Thank you so much for your love and support. Again, this one is for you. And this podcast is actually being listened to over 16 countries right now. And most of our viewers are obviously from the Philippines, but we got few thousands in the US, mainly in California, Texas region, San Antonio specifically. We got a couple as well from the UK that's been following us closely. And that's the reason why I wanted to get this topic out. Because again, at the end of the day, it's going to help so many people. It's going to open so many vision in life that you'd be able to get some tips from. Because at the end of the day, it's really all about making an impact in this world. At this current stage in my career, at this current stage in my life, it really pays to pay it forward for people that's really looking and meaning to achieve success. Because again, at the end of the day, as what I mentioned, it's not a competition. And again, success for me might not be the same type of success that you are aiming for. But again, at the end of the day, we all want to make sure that there is an instrument or a material out there that people can consume, such as this podcast right now. So, as what I mentioned, starts with the mind. You gotta need to change your mindset in order to achieve success and position yourself to success. Secondly, practice. OQP, only quality people. Okay? And then finally, develop your communication skills, right? Because at the end of the day, once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. So it's going to leave so much impact and interpretation as to what you're trying to portray for yourself. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. As what I promised, we are probably right about the 20-minute mark. Thank you so much. It's been a while. I think I was gone for maybe about 4 or 5 months running a podcast. I'll try to make sure, considering the workload right now, it's doing pretty well. I know for a fact that it's December, so it's I'm having some time for myself. So I'm having some time for this that I love, podcasting there is. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Once again, this is Jameer Angelo, your host for Nothing But Up the podcast. And I'll see you on our next episode. Peace, y'all.
Sage about the flex. Sage about the flex.